Perhaps you have just seen us do the super fast test time on the new CertiFiber Max. If not, let's take a look at it again. Mississippi 1, or was it 1 Mississippi? Fast, but that's not all. It's not just a fast test time. It's not just a one jumper reference for 12, 16, and 24. We've added some other features that I'd like to point out to you here. First, how are we able to have different connector types? Just like with the CertiFiber Pro, we have these different input adapters that can be attached and removed from the tester. Different input adapters are going to use different cords. We've been working to color code these, and I'd like to point out one of the color codes to you. Yellow, yes, needs to match your shirt. The white leg, as opposed to the black branch. I've got to remember to say that, branch. Branch translates better than leg. Black will be for 12, white will be for 24, gray will be for 16. Red is always going to be the transmit, the output port, the port that we don't disconnect from. Let's go into the menu, because as we've spoken with the customers and collected VOC, voice of the customer, they've provided us with some constructive feedback. One of the tools that they've requested for us is a visual fault locator. Now, the visual fault locator is very useful for us to be able to find where our cables go. Yes, we still have the happy noise when you're connected and when you're disconnected. I'm going to go into the visual fault locator here, and you'll see that I didn't have to unplug it. Yeah, the VFL is connected to the output port. Makes it very convenient to try and find which cable you're connecting to on the far end. We'll just stop that. There we go. Now, one other feedback that we've received is that people would like to be able to count the number of tests they have done with these test reference cords. So, in order to count the number of tests that are done with the test reference cord, we have this test count option. And if we enable the test count option, you'll see that we can edit this, and we have an option to choose to count the number of tests that are run with the test reference cord. And we also have a timer that will tell us what the time is between each test. Some customers, concerned with accuracy, concerned with uncertainty, have said, hey, I want you to start a test within some amount of time of setting a reference, maybe within an hour of setting a reference. So I can go in here and I can tell it that I want it to give me a warning when I'm getting up to that hour. Now I'm going to leave this at 12 minutes because I want you to see that error message coming up, and I'm going to change my count from 25 down to 10 because I'd also like to actually, let's make that 15. I would also like you to see the error message as we start to run out of our count. Now, you're probably going to do more than 15 tests or 25 tests with your test reference cord. Hopefully it will be hundreds, but it will be some number, and you would like to keep track of how many tests have been run. So we'll just save that, and we'll back out of here. Now, to get the timer started, I need to set a reference. Now, I know that I have my whole link here. I'm not actually doing tests, so I'm going to set a reference just with the setup that I have here. Okay, set reference. Bam, we're done. And now our reference is set, and you'll see that our timer has started. So if I push test, that will reset our timer to 12 minutes. And let's see, our loss is 0.01. That means that in that time, our drift was 1/100th of a decibel, even as I touch the cables, which is fine. And our counter has started up. We're up to 4 tests there. So we're just going to pause for a minute here. And while we pause, after this minute happens, then we're going to get our error message that we're getting close to running out of time. And again, what we're measuring is the time from when you set the reference to when you run your first test. This will also measure the time in between each test. How important is this? Depends on your concerns for the accuracy of the test. I worry that somebody sets a reference and then goes to lunch, and the tester times out and turns off, and they come back from lunch and perhaps they don't give it enough time to warm up. This counter is a way to say, hey, let's make sure only so much time goes between our tests. And you can see down here, it's showing us how much time is left, and we've run 4 tests. It doesn't happen at 10 minutes, it happens at 9 minutes and 59 seconds. There we go. So we give you a warning, hey, you have 10 minutes until your time period, maybe an hour, is going to expire. So that will be helpful. Okay, so we can see as we get close to reaching the limit of test reference cord tests, it's giving us a little indicator triangle there. I've run 13 of my expected 15 tests. I'm almost running out. And now, when I do my 15th test, we get this TRC test limit reached. You've run as many tests as you're supposed to run with this test cord per the company's guidance, per the company's requirements. And it's helping you out saying, you're going to have to replace the test reference cord. Now, when we replace the test reference cord and we unplug from the output port, then we're also going to need to set a new reference. But Jim, I only have 2 more tests to run. Okay, you can run 2 more tests, but it's going to tell you you've gone over the limit. In summary, what did we look at? We saw the different adjustable ports that we can put on that might be 12 or 16 or 24. Because this is 12, it's black, which aligns with the black leg of our test reference cord. We have a visual fault locator that we can use that is connected to the output port, so we don't have to disconnect from the output port to plug into the VFL. It's right there and ready to go from the tools menu. And we have that new counter. We are running out of time on our counter here that can tell us the amount of time from when we set a reference to when we run our first test. And it can also run a count of the number of tests that we run with a given test reference cord. Again, this is an optional feature, but something that many of our customers have been asking for. So there we have it, the additional features in the new Fluke Networks CertiFiber Max multi-fiber tester. Thank you very much for watching. I'm Jim Davis with Fluke Networks.